Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today is a really hard video for me to film, and I don't know exactly when I will post this and if it's going to be way past the time I filmed this, but I really wanted to get this out there. I want to make this video because I haven't been honest with you guys. I haven't been myself for the past month and a half or 2 months. I've been uploading a ton, as you guys can tell, and everything looks so perfect. If you guys look at my videos or if you look at my Instagram or Twitter, I seem like I'm so happy. And that's not necessarily true. And yes, I know I love fashion, I love beauty, I love all that stuff. And it's more something I like to do. It's a hobby, but that's not what I'm all about, and that's not everything I like and my passions are. In the end, I want to be able to talk about things and talk about issues that may affect other people, and I want to be able to reach out to people since I do have a platform here, and it would be such a disservice if I just was totally fake and didn't talk about things that did happen in life, because it can reach out to other people and it can help other people. And in the end, that's what I want my channel to really do, is to be a platform for people to come and to kind of forget their problems, but then also feel like they can relate to me and that they're not alone and with whatever issue that you're facing. I probably should not have worn mascara in this video, but you know, we're gonna go with it. As you guys can tell by the title, I recently was let go from my job, and this was my full-time career that I was doing aside from YouTube. It was not just a little side job I was doing, it was my career. I'll give you a little background about me. I went to university and I got my degree in psychology. I graduated almost a year and a half ago. I'm not going to name anyone's names or the organization's name. I'm not going to say that. I just want to get my story out there. This is probably going to be a really long video, so if this is not your type of video, then X out and you guys will catch me in my next video, which will probably be a normal beauty or fashion related video. But if you guys are going to stay and watch this, you better have a snack, because it's probably going to be a super long one, and I'm so sorry for that. I'll begin from the beginning and tell you everything that led up to this. I actually worked for this organization while I was doing my degree at my university I attended. I became a summer student when I was just 18 years old, which I was really fortunate, because a lot of universities actually don't have co-op when it comes to psychology. It's pretty much you read books for 4 years and then you graduate and then you're on your own. But I actually was able to become a summer student. I just applied and I got in. To give you a background of what I did, I worked with clients that had mental health issues, and they had dual diagnosis, so they had mental health issues, whether it was bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, and they were also developmentally delayed. So they had multiple issues with them, and it was seriously my passion. That's what I wanted to do. I want to help people that have issues, whether it's addictions or mental health issues and things like that. That was my passion, and I knew I wanted to do that since I was 13 years old, which is crazy because a lot of people don't know what they want to do, but I always knew I wanted to help people and get in that field. I got in when I was 18 years old, and I did a summer position all summer, worked there for 40 hours a week, and I loved it. I loved the place I was in. There's different locations for this organization, and that location I was in, I absolutely loved it. I loved the clients, I loved the people, I loved my coworkers. I just loved the whole atmosphere. It was so much fun, and it was such a great experience, and I was learning while I was going to school. Summer came to an end, and I was really sad, because just because you were a summer student doesn't mean you'll get a job after you're a summer student. It's not all the time that summer students end up becoming part-timers. But my supervisor loved me, and he told me to apply as part-time, and I was so excited. I applied and I got the job there right after. So I started working after that summer. I stopped in the end of August, I believe, and then I became officially part-time at the very beginning of October. I was 19 at this point. when I was a part-timer, and I was going to university and doing that as a part-time job. And I was actually doing 3 things. So I was going to university, I was doing that part-time, I also worked as a gymnastics coach, and I also was doing YouTube on the side, which my YouTube was just starting up. So I didn't really have much people, but I was trying really hard because I did want to do YouTube. I love psychology and I love helping people, but I am also very creative. I love editing, I love shooting videos and things like that. I've always been creative as well. So it kind of gave me like a hobby to do on the side of my actual job. I was going to school and I was part-time for the next 3 years or a couple years while I was in school. I graduated, and unfortunately the place that I was doing my part-time hours were starting to cut people's hours because clients were starting to leave, and when that happens, the part-timers have to kind of lose their hours because the full-timers have obviously seniority over the part-timers. So I decided to go to a different location. I heard a little bit of things about this location. I heard the staff could be a little bit gossipers, but you can't really judge based on what other people said, so I said that I wanted to try it out for myself, and I actually did quite enjoy it. I did love the clients there as well, and the coworkers were a lot. There were people that I really did like working there, and they were sincere and genuine people, and they made my time so much fun going into work. And the one thing I really liked too about this location is that it was super convenient for me because it was super close to my house. I could film YouTube in the mornings or after my work, and then I could go to work, and it was super convenient for me. So what I was doing, I worked there for a year part-time, and I was getting crazy amount of hours, working 60, 70, 80 hours a week sometimes. And at one point, my manager, I'll call her a manager, but pretty much she had to go on leave for a month, and my supervisor at that location really liked me and really thought I was a good worker, and actually asked me to take her position for that month and a little bit after. And I was so happy and ecstatic just because I thought that would be such good experience for my resume since I was so young, and at this point I was 20 or 21. 21, I believe. I think people would really mind. I just didn't really think about that. I just thought how it would look really good on my resume for me since I am young. And just to let you guys know, I was the youngest person in this organization, I believe, when I first started. I started at 18, and most people are in their 30s or late 30s to their 50s. That's like the main range. So I was quite younger than everyone. So it was really impressive for me to be in an organization and already doing so well, because a lot of my friends from university didn't really find jobs in the psychology field right after because they didn't have any experience. I was getting a ton of hours and I loved it. I built such good relationships with my clients, and I was starting to feel like I fit in. When I did get that lady's position for that month and a bit, that's when things kind of took for a turn. When I was taking her position, I was doing 70 hours a week for that whole month and a half, or a month and a bit, and that's when people started to really talk about me. People were, I guess, mad that my supervisor gave me that opportunity. Though I was not getting paid any more, nothing. It was just I was working crazy amount of hours, and I just thought it was good experience. I didn't do it because I wanted to get paid more. I just wanted to have that on my resume. So I thought that was really good, and I didn't really think about what the consequences would be if I took that. A lot of people were talking about me. Not everyone, obviously, but there were some people that were starting to talk behind my back, and they were really starting to bring me down and go down to the supervisor and complain about any little thing, but would never say anything to me. I even had people there that I would say hi and ask them a question, and they would straight out ignore me and turn their back on me and walk away. And I didn't understand what I did because I didn't know people would treat people like that, especially since I am so much younger than them, and they are, some of them, my parents' age, and I wouldn't think that my parents would treat someone like that. I just thought it was so unprofessional, and a lot of that was going around, but I kind of ignored it because I would go home and I'd have my own separate life. A lot of people at that job, obviously they were near their same age group, so sometimes they'd become friends and then hang out outside of work, but since I was so much younger, I just kind of went to work, worked really hard, did my job, and then I would go home and see my friends who were near my age groups. I kind of separated it, but it was getting really stressful for me because the job itself can be super stressful for anyone that's in my field. It can, because you are working with clients that have a lot of multiple issues, and it can cause emotional distress on you already. So it's really important to have a safe and happy work environment where everyone can depend on each other, because the job itself can already be stressful. I was starting to get a little stressed and burnt out. I was working crazy amount of hours, and I wasn't having fun going to the job anymore because of what people were saying about me. I kept going, and it started to get a little better. People were still talking about me, but I was starting to just ignore it, and I had good relationships with other coworkers, and they really made me feel happy and made me feel important and like I was part of the team. I enjoyed going. Then that May, so I did it for that year, and then at May there's actually a open position for full-time, and the manager that I took her position for the month actually kept telling me to apply, and I need to apply, and I applied and I got the position. But during this time we actually got a new supervisor. So my old supervisor that gave me that position from manager and that was working in that location moved up, and we brought in a new supervisor. So that's when everything took for a turn. She came in, and one thing I didn't tell you in this story is we had one client at my organization that was really fixated on me. This client was autistic, and if you guys know autism, autistic clients get very fixated, but it wasn't to the point where it really affected my client's daily programming. It just kind of would get annoying to people because all my client would say is Nicole, Nicole, Nicole this, Nicole that, Nicole this. And when my new supervisor came in, she didn't like it. She said, this needs to stop, and we need to stop this client. And all of us and the coworkers said, this is who this client is. This client is autistic, and that's who they are. They get fixated on people. I am a young female, and this has happened before with other females. This client gets fixated on females. I actually worked really well with this client. I enjoyed working with this client so much, you have no idea. And that's why this is so hard for me, because I got so attached to the clients, because you spend more time at work than you do at home. It's really hard. I was working for a few months and everything was going well. I thought I was doing really well. I thought I was doing a great job. I was a really dedicated worker. I would sometimes pull doubles or triples. One time right before I actually was let go, I worked a shift from 3 p.m. all the way to 9 in the morning straight. No breaks. Worked it, and I did that about 5 times since I was hired full-time. Sometimes when they really needed me, since I was so close, I would come in at midnight and do things for them. I'm very passionate about helping people, and I really enjoyed working. Everyone at my work knows that, even my supervisor. So that was going on. So I'm gonna fast forward. So everything was fine and I worked, and then it came to this one Monday where there was this one female staff, and for some reason, apparently she didn't like me. I had no idea she didn't like me because I used to talk to her. She was one of the people, I was never like super close with people at my work where I would hang out with them after because of my age difference. But she was one person that I was like acquaintances with. I was like, hey, how are you? And I thought we had no issues. Like I never knew she didn't like me or something. It was really blindsiding. So pretty much what happened was I started getting more shifts within the past month or a few weeks at our work because she wanted more shifts, so she was starting to get more shifts there. And then a lot of drama happened once that was occurring. It was 4 people on shift, and she was one of them, I was one of them, and there was 2 other males. This was a evening shift, so it was just us 4 in the location, and it went really good. The shift was just like a normal Monday shift. And this is gonna sound crazy to you guys, so it sounds crazy to me and my family and my friends, so I know this is gonna sound crazy to you guys because when my friends and family had to deal with this, their minds were blown. So this is the story. I was in a room with a male staff, and I was picking something up and my nail ripped off because my nails are super long, and it ripped off, and pretty much it ripped completely off. When that happened, I ran downstairs because it hurt, and I was trying not to be like ow really loud, so I ran downstairs and I wiped it underneath the sink because it was bleeding, because pretty much my whole nail flew off. And then this male staff came down to see me and was like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, don't worry about it, I'm fine." So the male staff went back upstairs, and after that happened, I went upstairs, I went into the office, I grabbed a band-aid because my finger was bleeding, and then I put it on, and then I did my thing. And I get a call from my supervisor, which is really strange because it's really late at this point in night, and that never happened. My supervisor asked me if me and that male staff are okay, and if we're fighting, and if something happened. And I said no. I was so confused why she was calling, and how did she even assume that? It ended up being that female staff that called in when I was in the washroom, saying that this male staff had assaulted me and beat me up essentially, and that she was scared for her life. Next day, I didn't know about this until another staff came in after I was done my shift and talked to her, and that's what she said to him. And then that's how I knew why my boss called me. Ever since that day, my boss called me the next morning when I did have a shift and said, "You're not coming into work, and you can't come in because there's an investigation now." And I was just like, why can't I come into work? I didn't do anything. She was like, "There's an investigation, there's an allegation made, and you need to come into work. You can't come into work now." And she actually questioned my character and said, "I don't know why you didn't call me right after shift. Who doesn't do that?" And I said, because I didn't know what was going on, and I thought I could just come into work the next day and talk to you about the situation because nothing happened that shift. There was another guy that was on shift that was actually near the female that called on me, but didn't know she called on me because she went outside to make the call. And he was on shift, and he can even attest and told my boss nothing happened. It was a good shift that night. There was no issues. Now obviously if I was assaulted, I am a small girl, and the person that apparently assaulted me is 6'4" and is 15 years older than me. I went in to get interrogated. I went into the main offices, and it was time for me to get interrogated since there was this allegation. When I was there, they didn't really tell me why I was getting interrogated. They didn't tell me what the allegation was, but I just knew because of what the staff member told me, what she said. I knew that the reason why was because I apparently got assaulted. And when I was in there, they were really tearing me apart. Then they started saying, "Are you with this male staff?" And take in that I am 23. I was 22 near the time, and this male staff is 36. And I know some people go with big age difference, but I'm 23. And he has kids and a family, and that would never ever occur. For people to make up rumors, it's like high school to me. So I'm being interrogated, asking if I'm with this male when he apparently assaulted me. And then they're looking at me, and my supervisor is making straight up lies to me, saying this happened and this happened. I said, no, it didn't. And then she says, don't lie, you know it did. And it was in front of another manager. So obviously the boss's word is gonna take over me. I was in there and I was humiliated, and I was so upset because I even said I'm a hard worker. I always work hard at my job. I didn't do anything wrong. I love the clients there, and I do my best for them, and I only do everything that's in the best interest for my clients. And they said to me, we know you're a hard worker. We're not questioning that. But it's not in the best interest for you to be fighting with another staff and arguing. And I told them, I am not arguing with another staff, and nothing happened that night. Yet they kept saying, you should be doing that. And the crazy thing, that one female that told on me, she got into a full-out fight in front of my clients, yelling fight with another female coworker. just that Friday, and she told me on the Monday. And it was a full-blown argument, and the supervisor that was on call knew about it because they called on each other like little high school girls. And I brought that up. I said, how about that argument that happened on Friday with those two coworkers? And all they said to me was, we're dealing with it. However, both those coworkers still work at that place now. But apparently I'm out because I argued with someone who I didn't argue with, and someone apparently assaulted me, and I got fired. After that interrogation, I went home. I was so upset because I could not go into work. I couldn't do anything about it. And they said they needed to investigate more. They investigated more, and I know that they asked certain staff members, and those staff members said that my relationship with that coworker is professional and that nothing happened that shift. Yeah, I came in that Friday, and they told me, due to further investigation, we decided to terminate your position. Then my supervisor pushed the Kleenex box to my face, and then the human resources person gave me my package. And that's all they said. They didn't tell me why I was getting let go. They didn't tell me anything. And just out of nowhere. Done. That's it. Even though I did so much for the organization, working 80 hours a week, working doubles, and working from 3 p.m. to 9 a.m. sometimes, and coming in when it wasn't my shift just to fix things. And you're just done. You can't say bye to anyone. You can't say bye to your clients. I could say bye to my client who I was their primary. I could say bye to anyone. And my reputation just looked horrible. It made it seem like I was with some older man and he assaulted me. I'm disgusted that that stuff goes on. And I lost it. A few weeks before I lost my job, I purchased my first car, and as you guys can see the vlog, I purchased my first car. And I booked my vacation to Las Vegas before I was fired. I was devastated. When you work in this field, you can't become too attached to clients, but you know you will, because you spend so many hours with them and you helping them. I can't explain the feeling that you get by helping people. You feel like you're actually making a difference and you're putting positive energy into the world when you're helping people. One thing I am thankful for is having my parents' support. I've definitely gotten a lot closer with my family, and obviously it's taken a toll on my family because they don't want to see their daughter like this, and they were really shocked and disgusted too and wish that they could do something. And when I was let go, I did go through a little bit of a depression, and still I'm not the happiest person, or I'm not fully healed yet, but you feel like you worthless and you feel humiliated. I felt humiliated, I felt worthless, and I still feel embarrassed and disgusted at the same time. And I feel anger because I'm so mad at that female coworker. I'm so mad at my supervisor or my boss to even do that to me, and knows how hard of a worker and how much I've done. I'm just so disgusted by that whole organization. I would have never want to represent it again, to know that they ruin people's lives like that, and they're so quick to ruin people's lives to good people when I spent years in that organization. It sickens me, and I want my story out there because it's not fair. This shouldn't happen to anyone, and I'm not just saying it's not fair to me. It obviously happens in the world, and I was so blind to this, and it needs to be put out there. But I don't want to eat. I just want to sleep in bed. I just wish this could be all one big nightmare, but I wake up every day knowing it's real, and I know that I'm young and I will eventually move on and hopefully find another job, which it is very difficult. I've been trying. That's another thing. You graduate with university and you think, oh, I'm gonna find a job now. I have a degree that you wanted, and you can't even find a job. That everything happens for a reason, and I know I will eventually find another job, and I'm young and I have my whole life out there. It really puts you in such a down mood. I finally had a full-time career. I finally bought my first car, and my life was going so good. I was so happy. Everything just changed in a heartbeat. Like, I would have never thought this would happen. I can't believe things like this happen to people in the world, and that there's nowhere for someone to turn, and there's nowhere, you can't do anything about it, and it's not fair. It's not fair how much power these organizations have over you. How about if I had a family or a house, and where would I be, on the streets right now? I'm so fortunate that I have my family, because if I moved out on that job, I would have never thought I could just lose it like that. And if I moved out, I would be so screwed right now. I know this was super long, and I'm so sorry, but that is my story. I want to get it out there, and I don't know when this will be posted, and I'm really nervous to post this because I've never posted something like this before on my channel, and I've never been this open and vulnerable to you guys, but I want you guys to know because I don't want to be fake anymore, and I want you guys to know the truth of how I've been feeling and who I am. And I'm not just this person that likes beauty and superficial things. I actually have passions for other things in my life. I've always wanted to help people with mental health issues, and I love doing it. And when I'm working, I know I'm good at it, and I know I help people, and I feel good about it. I don't think this should be happening to anyone. Go through so much emotional stress and you have no support. Just no support. You just have to be there by yourself, and you have to try and get back on your feet. Kicked me down, good. And they really brought me down, emotionally, mentally. I'm not gonna let a liar and manipulative people do this to me. I'm gonna pick my feet back up, and I'm gonna show them that it's their loss. If people are bringing you down and you're having issues, just know that you're down now, but things will get better. I'm still at that stage where I'm down, but I know that I will get myself back up, and I want you guys to do that too, because no one deserves to be unhappy their whole lives. One chance in this life to make it right. And do what you love, and don't give up on what you love, no matter what that love is. Do what you love and do what you're passionate about, and do the things that you want to accomplish in this life, and don't let other people tell you that you can't do it, because you can. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a super long one, and I didn't mean to do that, and I'm kind of nervous to post this. I don't know when it will be up. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it gets out there or it helps someone, because everyone deserves to be happy, and no one deserves to be brought down no matter what. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll have a new normal video, probably my next video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really hard for me to film, and I'm gonna have a lot of editing to do, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I put new videos every single week, and don't forget to click that subscribe button. It would seriously make my whole day. You guys have made me so happy. If I didn't have YouTube right now, I'm telling you guys, I would be at such a worse state right now in my life. So you guys have been making this so much easier on me. You've made me so much happier. You have no idea. And all your support means the entire world to me, because you have brought me to where I am now. And without you, I would be in such a worse state in my life, and I'm thankful that I at least have something to look forward to, and it's you guys and entertaining you guys and putting content out for you guys. Just know, if someone's trying to bring you down, don't let them bring you down. Get back up, and that's what you need to do. And I still feel like I'm down, but I know this is the first step for me to finally realize that things happen to good people sometimes in the world, and you just need to learn from it, you need to grow from it, and become a better person. Putting this out there is my first step to realizing that it was not my fault. I couldn't have done anything different. These people knew what they were doing, and they knew they wanted me gone. I can no longer blame myself anymore. And posting this, I'm acknowledging that, because I've been down for far too long now, and I need to pick myself back up, and I need to do it, because I am a strong person, and I know so many things are going to come for me in the future, and as well as you guys, because take this advice, and I'm telling you, just don't let anyone bring you down. I know how hard it is. I loved working, and I loved my field, and I loved helping these clients. They are amazing people. All the clients that I've helped, they're amazing people, and people sometimes need help, and people need that person to lean on, and I loved being that, and I wish nothing but the best for all my clients, and I will never be able to say goodbye, but I know that they'll be great and that they're in some good hands. And I loved a bunch of my coworkers that were there, that were supportive towards me and nice to me, and I could never thank them enough. And what sickens me is there's still being lies said to me about me there, and I'm not even there anymore. I'm fired, and I'm still being talked about. So it just shows you how these people, who they really are. Maybe one day they'll learn for themselves to not be that kind of person. But I do believe in what goes around comes around, and I know that right now I might not be at my happiest, and I may be brought down, but I know eventually I will see the reason why, because I know I did nothing wrong. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!